Lingayat is no different from, say, Buddhism or Jainism, and it was a travesty of Basavanna's philosophy that it is now being treated as a caste of Hinduism. Now, this is a line that was completely contrary to the Hindutva approach to Lingayats, and as it happened, the other Lankesh Patrika, which was being run by her brother, took a position that was in favor of the BJP position on Lingayats. And in fact, on more than one occasion, Indrajit expressed admiration for Modi and BJP rule at the center. And that approval of BJP extended to this issue of Lingayat. And the reason I mention this Lingayat is also because it links her death very directly to the death of Kalburgi, another great Lingayat scholar who was engaged with this very controversial, sensitive subject. He was killed at a time when he was all set to come out with his material, with his book on why Lingayats are a distinct community. And Gauri, to her credit and very typical of her, she took up this campaign for justice for Kalburgi in a big way, and she, in that context as well, took the line that Kalburgi was right, and he was attacked because of its repercussions to this whole scheme of Hindu consolidation against minorities and lower castes and the poor and so on. So I guess I run out of time, but I hope I succeeded in giving you a flavor of the kind of ideological battles that she was engaged in Karnataka. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Monobina Gupta. She's a journalist with 25 long years of experience in mainstream print media, and she's currently an editor with The Wire. Monobina.
I stand here before you as a journalist today, and I'm going to look at Gaurilankesh's work and her as primarily as a journalist and the role that she served, and in many ways a role which I think collectively, a role which collectively we in the media, I think, have failed and are still continuing to fail. Yesterday we had a huge protest meeting at the press club. After years, if not decades, we were discussing, journalists amongst ourselves who've been in this craft for a long time. We were saying that it was great to see so many of us turn up for an issue. And then we also said that what will change after this in the newsrooms? Some of us, the more cynical ones, we said maybe nothing will change. And yet we kept saying something has to change. And for me, Gaurilankesh, who I did not know personally, but I am like, I think all journalists who would claim to be journalists are familiar with her work, is an inspiration not only because she has been fighting doggedly for all these issues which have now come, in a way, exploded in our faces. She's also an inspiration. She also in reminding us of the moment we are inhabiting today in Indian media, and how badly we are failing, how much we are failing to rise up to the demands of this moment. I just feel that when I read Gaurilankesh's work, and in fact before coming here I went back to her News Minute video, where she has spoken about a range of issues, not just about the Hindu right wing. She has spoken about gay rights, she's spoken about the campaign of love jihad, she's spoken about moral policing. So she has intersected all the issues which affect us in our daily lives. And in all of that, she has always stood for the other, the marginalized, the minorities of every kind, not just religion, minorities of religion, caste, sexual orientation, every sphere. And I think somewhere along the line, we keep saying Gaurilankesh. In fact, yesterday in so many of the orbits and the pieces we carried on the wire, this came back to us over and over again, how she was a rare voice of courage, of intrepid fearlessness. And this is something I want to talk about, looking inwards at our own fraternity. Why was she a rare voice? Why did we not actually strike up a crescendo of that criticality, of those critical voices which needed to be not alone, not the lone voice of Gaurilankesh, but of the entire media fraternity? All the conversations I have with my colleagues keep reminding me of how much we are dodging, how much we are hedging, how much we are scared to speak truth to power the way Gaurilankesh did. How much we have become beholden to the authorities, be it immediate, be it outside our offices, be it the state, so to speak. I think it is not just enough to mourn her death, a brutal assassination. It is not enough to just see a pattern, because all the pattern we've already seen. What more is there for us to see? We know the investigations may or may not yield something. You know, going by the way investigations generally go, I am afraid that maybe fingers will be pointed in other directions. Maybe we will never actually get to see the faces of the killers. But here is the thing, that we have to no longer rely on the formal channels of investigations, etc. We have to use our own thinking faculties, and as a journalist and as journalists we have access to a lot of information. We have access to technological resources. We are part of a media world which is completely changed. We are not making enough of that world. We are not making enough of the information which is coming our way. And Gaurilankesh, who ran a small magazine, actually stood her ground, actually spoke truth to power. And I'm just wondering, when are we going to start doing that? Thank you.